I already know it's gonna be controversial as fuck. Whatever. What's going on? Addiction isn't real, right? And it's people got some shit, and like Andrew Tate got some shit for saying depression isn't real, and it's kind of like the same idea. Like addiction isn't real. As somebody in the past who would be classified as an addict, whether it be porn, video games, alcohol, nicotine, weed, probably other things, right? But it's not an addiction. You just have a weak mind with bad habits. That's all. It's just habits. It's just things you constantly do. And like, yeah, maybe you'll say like that's an addiction, but then if you're taking it a step far, like saying it a step further, saying addiction's a disease, that's just outrageous, in my opinion. It's I've done like sort of the AA. I didn't like go balls deep in it, but I explored it. I read their little book and kind of explored the concepts and whatever. But to me, it doesn't make any sense to reaffirm to yourself every day that you're an addict. To me, that makes no sense, right? Because you're imprinting that on your subconscious, right? That you have, like, you're an addict, it's hopeless, your addiction, every day is a struggle, blah blah blah. That whole idea. And maybe for some people it is because they just haven't learned the skills or strengthened their mind or developed better habits, things to take up their time, whatever. And like I said, this is from somebody who would be classified as an addict in the past and has a family history of addiction in my family, in my history, all that fun stuff, right? So I would be a prime example of somebody who's an addict, right? Because even now, like I don't really do drugs. Like I'll smoke weed sometimes, maybe I'll take a sip of, like, if I'm tasting beer, like I'll taste test it, but I'm not drinking to get drunk. I'm not hitting the vape stick, whatever. I'm not smoking weed every day. I do psychedelics a little bit, but even then, like, it's like once every maybe couple months, like really, like rarely. So what did I do, right? All I did was strengthen my mind and develop better habits and kind of just like not necessarily like reset my dopamine shit, but like I had to fix what gave me pleasure and figure out new ways to give myself pleasure that weren't harmful to my body, right? And like this is a reoccurring theme in all my videos, right? It's all about raising your awareness. By being able to raise your awareness and coming to the, I guess, thoughts and ideas and conclusions about certain drugs or certain behaviors or certain whatever, it's way easier to not indulge in them at all if you're just aware, if you're conscious of it. And there's another YouTube channel, Lucid Living, that I follow, and I like his stuff. I'm gonna add him in this because why not? But I saw one of his videos he posted yesterday about like evil. He was just going into the idea that like evil is just unconsciousness or something along those lines. And to me, it's more so like evil is being conscious, right? Being aware of certain things, but acting as if you're not conscious. So acting unconsciously while you're still consciously. So right, when you look at politicians and you look at the financial guys and the healthcare guys, like they can't plead ignorance on 99% of the stuff they do because they know and do it. And that's basically what it is. That's what evil is, like knowing something and doing it anyway. Essentially, I mean, I'm sure it's more than that, right? But that's how I break it down. So in terms of addiction, raise your awareness and your consciousness, and you become aware that not even that things are bad for you, but that there's more to life than just, you know, getting high, having sex. This lady's walking down the middle of the road. Anyway, there's more to life than just your perception, right? And a lot of people's perception is that they can't live without doing some type of drug, right? They need to do it every day. Even like coffee. Well, coffee's a good example, right? Because I minimize my caffeine intake, really. Like, if I really drink it, it's either by accident or like tea or something. Like, I don't really drink coffee anymore, because raising your awareness, that whole idea, I kind of came to the conclusion, and through reading and through self-work, that they say, like, if you yawn, when you yawn, it's not because you're tired, it's because your blood needs more oxygen, right? So by controlling your breathing, and when you feel like you're getting tired, really focusing on your breathing patterns and breathing routines, and like different, and just really putting emphasis on the breathing and drinking water, right? But specifically breathing, you're able to give yourself more energy by increasing the oxygen in your blood, essentially. And yeah, it's you're gonna might say it's pseudoscience, or that's not 100% true, but kind of is. Like, exercise, water, and oxygen in your blood are ways to not get drowsy or to overcome that sleepiness effect, right? So that lends to my point that raising your awareness and learning more about different things can remove the need for certain drugs in your life. We talked about this before too, like energy vibrating at certain frequencies. Like, everything has like kind of vibrational frequency, right? Like, even like inanimate objects like weed, numbers too, different things, everything, right? Supposedly, theoretically. So once you get to a certain frequency or vibration or whatever, once you start vibrating at a certain frequency, it's no longer in your best interest a lot of the times to consume marijuana, because yeah, if you're below that frequency, then yeah, it can raise your frequency. And Tim Leary, I've talked about him before, supposedly they took, when LSD was synthesized, they took it out to Nepal, Tibet, one of those places, and gave it to monks, and the story is that it had no effect on them. Why? Because they were already vibrating at that frequency above LSD, because they did the work and got to a point where it had no effect on them. At least that's what they told them, or whatever. And you'd probably know if you saw somebody who'd never taken LSD before and they took it, they would act oddly or strangely. But then if you were to see these guys take it and they were maybe little to no reaction, you're like, all right, well then why is that? Right? Because you can work yourself to a point through different practices that you no longer need these drugs at all, or want these drugs at all. Cold exposure, right? Whether it be water, air, whatever. Ice baths are known to help with anxiety and to diminish the urge to ingest drugs. There's research on this. There's personal experience on this. There's a bunch. So to say that you have an addiction and there's nothing you can do about it is a harmful idea. It's really harmful to tell that to people, because it's just flat out not true. To tell somebody that they have a problem, that no matter what they do, they're still going to have that problem, is not in their best interest. And you got to think, why would we be telling this to these people? And A, it's just ignorance. It's one of the two. And I tend to side with the ignorance side, right? Because I try to believe in the good in everybody and whatever, but yeah. So yeah, addiction isn't real. It's really a mindset. It's really a weak mind with bad habits. I'm gonna leave it at that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.